All right, people. It's your man DSD Informed. I'm here, and I just want to talk about some things that's been going on recently, and just get my outlook on it. It's been really crazy these past couple of months, and really what I want to talk about is this thing that just happened with the shooting. You know, we had because a shooting happened a few months back. A little while back with the Aurora, Colorado situation. And then we have this Sandy Hook situation. And you also, if you keep up with just any kind of news recently, there's been a lot of sports players that have been going on these homicide, suicide missions, where they'll kill some people and then they'll kill themselves. And it's not just kill a few people in the privacy of your home, kill yourself, and they find you dead 3 days later because you didn't show up to work. But it's a very open and public display. And that's really what's starting to grab my attention. Because a lot of times these things, like I said, they'll find out, such and such hasn't been to work in a few days. Let's send somebody to check on them. Then they'll go and find the bodies. Rather, these people are just blatantly offing people, then running into football stadiums and shooting themselves in the head. Or running into schools and shooting kids and killing their mothers and killing themselves. And then the shooting in Colorado where the guy shot up the movie theater. Okay, so let me work back to that and I'm going to work my way up. First of all, this is nothing new, but with the shooting in Colorado, there's been a lot of speculation and talk going on. I just want to say a couple of things about this to just clear something up. One, first and foremost, it was planned. And I'm not talking planned as in this whole conspiracy plan, which I have a thought about that too. But it was planned because that's not something you wake up in the morning and decide you're going to do. The amount of the weaponry that he had would have to have been, ordered already, preset. The gear that he had. It's like that's not something you just have laying around. He had on tactical gear that was the equivalent to, if not even better, he was even better equipped than tactical persons like of the SWAT. He had on gear that even they don't wear in that part, where they were. So, that's a show of just what's going on. The gun that he had wasn't something that you just go and buy. Like you don't stop by Walmart and pick that up. And then it was fully automatic. So you don't just buy those anyway. You have to order that from somewhere, Then he had the whole plan to set up with the, calling the police, having them go to his house, and then the huge explosion happening, to draw them away so he can do his thing. And that takes planning. That's not something you start on Monday and pull off on Friday. You have to ask too, where did he get the money? And I'm sure they've come out with something to say where he got the money from. I haven't seen anything about it, but where do you get the money to fund this? This is not a cheap situation. There's nothing about this situation that's cheap. So where does the money come from? And how do you get these things without drawing attention to yourself? Like you're ordering these things and nobody is wondering why, or you're purchasing these things even if it's from different places and nobody is wondering why. If you're doing it offline, this is going on your credit card or your debit card, and there's no question. If you're buying, it's like, okay, why are you buying this? And even more so, who sells this? So you have that question. I'm gonna let that ring. You have that situation, and then this guy goes in and he just does his thing, and he goes ballistic. Next, you get, like I said, you get into these football players. It's just like, what's going on? Why are these football players deciding to just do these things? Like, it was amazing. Like, how consistent it was. It wasn't just one guy, maybe two guys. Like, it was just happening over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, we just had one guy do it this morning. Now somebody's doing it in the afternoon. And then one dude did it last night at the hotel. And I'm kind of made that part up, but that's how it was happening. Like, it was just coming. And I was like, what? Like right before games. Like, if the game is on Sunday, Saturday night, dude blank out, shoot 4 people in the locker room, shoots himself. Like, It was amazing. And then we get to this Sandy Hook situation where this sick individual kills his mother, goes to a school, and shoots a bunch of innocent babies, and then kills himself. I was stuck, and this is no lie. You know, I work in. I probably say this a lot in some of my videos, but I work in the school system. I'm an aspiring teacher. So aspiring teacher, and inspiring too. Yeah. So I went grocery shopping with my cousin. We needed food in the house. When I got home, this is the story that was on TV. I mentor and tutor every day in the later parts of the afternoon, from about maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I go check on the kids, see how they're doing during the, how they did during the day. You know, sometimes I go earlier, but the fact of the matter is that I come home moments before I prepare myself to leave and go do my session, and this is the story that's on TV. Like, imagine that. You know, and it didn't affect my school that I was at per se, but it's even scary because I went to an elementary school. Like the school that I was going to was an elementary school. So it's just slowly but surely narrowed in, and I tutored with fourth grade. I did with fourth graders, and well, kind of a mix of third and fourth, but either way, and that was, you know, that age group was part of what happened. And it shook me. And a lot of people for a part was like, you know, they had this stuff going around talking about Barack Obama and all this craziness. And I have to talk about that too. And all this is going to tie in. I'm gonna stop talking about this and start hitting on some other stuff. This is going to be probably a 2-session video now that I think about it. But anyway, so we have this situation, and I have to go to the school. Like, nothing is wrong. They still deal with these kids, and I'm hurting. And people, you know, and it was just a crazy thing. It's really crazy. So now, all of that, all this emotional stuff, now let's get to the real. Let's get to why I came on here to do this. All right, now, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of talk, a lot of conspiracy theories going around, or whatever you want to call them. And plain and simple, and I'm in agreement with most of these, that these things are setups to deny us our rights. You know, Huey Newton once said that a people without arms, without the means to protect themselves, are subject to slavery at any time, if not already slaves. Now think about that. You know, I made a comment on Facebook, and I made a stat about it. The fact that, you know, everything is cool as long as the guns aren't pointed at us. For years, hundreds of years, this country, I think we've only had a few wars actually happen on our soil. And that was during like the very beginning of this country. Other than that, there hasn't been a lot of wars that other countries have come here and attacked us. You know, and there hasn't been really any wars where the United States has turned on its own people. Like an immense war, all out, guns blazing, military personnel. So with that, I have to sit here and wonder what's coming. Why all of a sudden that, you know, there's going to be, you know, people are calling for it. And that's the thing. That's the thing that makes it scary to me, is the fact that we're being fooled. We're being tricked into wanting tighter gun regulations so that when things happen, it can all trickle back down to the fact that this is what we wanted. You know, you allow a few things to happen, or you make things happen. Yes, I said make things happen. Make them happen. And with them happening, you show people, hey, we need tighter gun laws. They're like, yeah, we agree. Because look at what's going on. Like, look at the terrible things that are happening. Get better gun laws. Get tighter gun laws. So now, when something jumps off, we can't defend ourselves. it's illegal. We can't have the guns. We don't have that protection. And guns don't necessarily define protection, but when you have an onslaught of people with arsenal, with military arsenal like that, coming with you, I'm inclined to believe that a gun better matches a gun in any situation. Now if we're talking back, hundreds of years ago when it was, swords and spears, they were taking away the swords and spears from us. We're not allowed to have those weapons. Not allowed to have knives be larger than a certain size, things like that. And that's our Second Amendment right getting shut out the window. And that's really what this video is about too, is our rights. The amendments. I did one about the 13th. And now I'm doing one about the civil rights. Not civil rights, excuse me, but the Bill of Rights. The first 10. The First Amendment, giving us, freedom of speech. We can say pretty much what we want. Freedom of assembly, right to petition. But they're stopping that. They're kind of putting a but on that. Freedom of speech, but you can't say anything about this person. Right to assembly, freedom of assembly, right to petition. But you can't do it based on these things. Or here's a list of things that the First Amendment doesn't apply to. If you're trying to use the First Amendment to protect yourself so you can say stuff about this, you can't do it. Slowly but surely, putting more buts in there, adding more and more things to that list, where by the time freedom of speech is, I'm probably going to be getting beat up for posting these videos. No police. Me and a bunch of other people, not just me, but me and a lot of other people for posting videos, anti-government stuff. Second Amendment, like I just said, all this stuff going on with these shootings, people are going to want tighter gun regulations. They're going to want to remove their own amendment. Basically, want to tighten up on it, short it out. And also, like this lady said in the news, it also increases gun sales. Maybe that's the idea. Get more guns sold to people. More guns out there. For what reason? Interesting. You have the Third Amendment, protection from the quartering of troops. That's gone. That's already gone. For two reasons. One, the NDAA gets rid of that. The NDAA makes it where, at any time somebody can be housed in your joint. They basically can take military personnel and put them in your house, period. No argument. And then it says at the time, at a time of peace, well, we're at war. And we've been at war for ever. But more media based, we've been at war for what? This is 2012? 11 years. So the Third Amendment right now is basically out the door. Protection from unreasonable search and seizure. The NDAA got rid of that too. Because, and it's let me see, the Fourth Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. Let me scroll down. The Sixth Amendment, trial by jury. The Seventh Amendment, civil trial by jury. The Eighth Amendment, prohibition of excessive bail and cruel and unusual punishment. Almost the entirety of the Bill of Rights was destroyed by the NDAA. And I know people have seen this, but I'm telling you what it is, because it has now given the president the right to take you if you are felt as or seen as a threat to the country. Take you, lock you away without any reason or due tale indefinitely. So technically you can get life in prison and never see a courtroom. You can go from home to prison, done. And you can sit there until you die. That's a scary thought. That's a real scary thought to me. That I can go from sitting here in my room, there can be a knock on my door. Police kicking the door. No warrant. Nothing. Just a feeling, a tingle. What's the word I'm looking for? Y'all know the word I'm looking for. Reasonable doubt, suspicion of something going on, and it's sitting down from the top. And they can have us thrown in jail. Really? That's what it is. And And this video actually is a lot shorter than I expected to be, because I was really able to go through and I didn't read over these like I thought I did, and realize that there's like, and this is Obama's doing, but it's not just Obama. You know, Bush signed it as well. Clinton signed it as well. Bush Sr. signed it as well. Nixon and Reagan back. This is not a new bill. This is not a new thing that's in process. This is something that's been around for a while that the president just kind of signs. You know, and I think it's coming to light with Obama more so now, because Bush just kind of effed up. We were blinded by the war. We were so focused on him screwing us up with the war that we ignored everything else he was doing. But now, you know, the war is kind of on the back burner. It's there, but it's not as prominent as it used to be. So now we're able to focus on things more on the homeland base, and we're starting to see things. And I think that's another beef that a lot of people are having with Obama that other people are missing, is the fact that we don't discredit Bush for his mess ups, but we realize now that the war is kind of slowing itself down. It's still horrible, but it's slowing itself down in the media compared to what it used to be, to the point where now we're looking at the president. We're not distracted over here anymore. We're looking at you and trying to figure out what's going on, because we made a mistake of being distracted once. And look what happened. Look what we are. So we're not doing that again. We're looking directly at you, looking directly at the person that we feel is responsible for this. He's not. But we're looking directly at the person we feel is responsible for this, and we're holding you accountable. So ask yourself, with all the things going on, are you truly in favor of certain things? Because understand, at the end of the day, there's going to come a time where the choices that you make, the feelings that you feel, and the things that you think are okay and cool to go with, this flow that you find yourself in, are either going to truly come to protect you, or they're going to truly come to hurt you and be harmful to you. Again, I laid it out simple for you. Google NDAA and read it. As soon as you Google it, in fact, I might just Google and post it in the description. Post a link sending you to a description of it, so you can read it and look over and understand it. I'm not making these things up. This is not just some crazy stuff. And then the Ten Commandments, the 10 Amendments, the Bill of Rights. That's an interesting subject. I'm gonna Google and post on those too, because I have it here. So I'm gonna take that link and I'm gonna put it down here so y'all can read over it and look at it and line it up, so you don't think I'm just talking crazy. And it's tragedy going on right now. And I try to tell, and I told people, you know, this is something that I truly believe. I'm a black activist. No lie. I'm pro-black all the way. But I'm also pro-human. And I'm pro-people. And I say pro-people in the fact of I'm for the American people getting what we need and what is owed to us, what has been promised to us. Those unalienable rights, those inalienable rights that we so-called have. That's us. We want that. Because sooner or later it's going to go from being about black and white. It's going to go from being about race. It's going to go from being about religion and creed. It's going to go from being about class. It's going to go from being about East Coast and West Coast, what state you're from, what side of the tracks you're from, whether or not your mom and dad went to college, or if you have a degree. It's not going to be about that anymore. It's going to simply be us versus them. And understand the choices you make now decide how much power that the them get. Because when it comes time for it to be a us versus a them, you have to choose a side. And you're either going to fight against them or you're going to fight for them. And when you're fighting for them, you're still fighting against them. You'll be a voluntary slave. You'll be willingly giving your services to a person who's going to soon want to kill you or ruin you. And with that said, I'm going to go and I'm going to look up some other stuff, and I'm going to get the stuff posted up for the description so people can look at it, so you can know. Y'all have a great day, great night, depending on where you are when you see this. Have a great weekend that's coming up. You know, happy end of the world. December 21st today. Yeah, man, I'm DSD Informed. Peace.